With the co-owner of the Shreveport Comedy Club, which is it's been around for about 4 or 5 months now. It's a, you know, relatively new business. Two co-owners, Clyde Williams and who I'm talking to today, Mark Pugh, are the owners who established this to give a space for comedians in Shreveport to do more comedy because we have limited locations for comedy in Shreveport. So you're gonna get to hear a bit of our discussion about the art of comedy and his experiences doing comedy, and it's a really cool conversation. So I look forward to you guys hearing it. There will be a short commercial break somewhere in the middle of it. So just bear with me when we get to that point. We'll get right back to the interview. All right, guys, you enjoy. I certainly did. Hello, I'm Brittney Hazelton, and this is ArkLaTex Artistry, where we explore the arts in our area. Today, we have a comedian guest who runs, with a partner, runs the Shreveport Comedy Club. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Mark Pugh Jr. I'm a comedian, been a comedian for probably since the 4th grade. Do operate and own Shreveport Comedy Club with Clyde Williams. I wear so many hats, it's kind of hard to have a condensed introduction, but that's pretty much it.
Well, first, let's talk about Shreveport Comedy Club.
Right.
Tell me a bit about your business.
We opened about 5 months ago. We started having shows 4 months ago, and we try to do something every week. We have an open mic, and I just wanted to come back. I just came back from Austin in February and wanted to do something for the comedy community because while I was away, I was hearing a lot about what's being underserved and what's not happening for the community. So we have a lot of comics out here that are very talented, been all across the country, some across the world, but they come back home and they don't feel like there's something that they can do in their own neighborhood. So I wanted to open a comedy club that was focused on just for us by us type situation where we we have a green room, we have stuff we need, stuff like that. We just building it brick by brick. Didn't get any like super big funding ahead of time, so it's all just like grassroots and just kind of like building piece by piece.
As you go, yeah.
Right, yeah. Trying to do something for the whole flock of comedians we have down here.
Yeah, we have a lot of talent,
Yeah,
and
a lot.
I feel like in all the arts and
Right.
entertainment,
Right.
there's a little bit of underservedness for how many talents we have here.
That's a fact.
There each kind of like group. I feel like building something right now,
Right.
from film to art, visual arts, the music community, and you guys. I'm glad that you guys came back and you're building something here for the comedians because
Yeah.
they deserve that space.
Absolutely. We even a lot of the comedians also. Some of them into acting, some of them into film, music.
Yeah.
So we kind of like try to. Actually, today is Thursday. We have a talent show at the club. So people that do poetry.
Max Swans?
Max Swans,
Yes.
Max Swans. Yeah, he runs that. He's been a good friend of mine for a while. I remember when not when he first started, but when I first found out about him, he was a younger guy. But we were already doing like live music shows, and we would bring because I saw the talent and the for lack of a better word, the tenacity that he had.
He really does.
It is unmatched. So I wanted to help as much as I could. So we brought him over there. He's been doing a great job.
I interviewed Mac last year.
Okay.
Around around the same time. It's almost like almost near the same time I met him,
Right.
and I fell in love with his music. Absolutely a creative mind, and his music's not like any other music. I really, So I listen to his stuff all the time.
Gotcha.
He's
Yeah,
one of my favorite musicians, and I don't just say that locally. I mean, like
Just
in general.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite musicians.
Absolutely.
So it's cool to see that you're working with different artists and different types. And I think I feel like I've been seeing that a lot more collaboratively
Right.
between the different. Because that's one thing I'm trying to encourage. Like, I want artists from like the film industry to work with the visual artists.
Right.
I want the bands to work with the visual, and like everybody kind of work together
Right.
because we could really build an artistic community that's not just based on one type of art,
That's
right?
a fact. Right.
We
Right.
can make a very multimedia
Yeah.
like thing
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so in your words, how
Mm.
is comedy an art form?
How is comedy an art form?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's an art form in the fact that it's a form of expression. Even if you are making up something, it still comes from some aspect of reality or your personal experience. So I like a lot of storytellers. And I do like one-liners, but I really like storytellers because it's a unique
Oh yeah.
perspective. We may go to the same place, we may have the same type of family members, but this person making it funny versus how I make it funny, it'll be two totally different aspects on the same situation.
Oh yeah.
And to be able to make somebody laugh is a skill. To you can see the funny in sad stuff, depressing things, even happy things. You can find something to laugh at. So I think it's just finding the minute details of something and giving another perspective and making somebody laugh. I think that's a unique artistic expression and
Oh yeah.
experience.
Definitely. It's not only that, there's got to be a little bit of performance to
Oh yeah,
it.
perform. Yeah, it is a
Again,
perform.
the writing that you have to
That's
do,
true. Yeah, yeah.
the delivery, everything about it,
Right,
I
right.
feel like is an artistic thing. So
Absolutely.
I had an interesting question since
Mhm.
we're kind of on the topic. To you, is there a difference? And if there is, what is the difference between humor and comedy?
Yeah, I do think there's a big difference. Comedy is more so the art form, and then humor is just what the art form produces. So humor you can find humor in anything, but I think that's just under the umbrella of what comedy is per se. Because I know somebody can be funny at the water cooler at work. That's
Yeah.
not necessarily a comedian or comedy. It's
It
just
doesn't
somebody
mean that
that's
they can
right.
make the punchline kick,
Yeah,
hit the audience right,
man, I've
right?
seen so many people that come to open mics or try to get on shows. They're like, "Well, everybody at work say I'm funny," and then they get up there and they're not good at comedy
Yeah.
because it's a whole different monster. So I would think that that's like the biggest thing is you have to learn how to translate what you say or what you think is funny over here, and go to the stage and have other people to understand how you see it. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? That's how I see the difference.
So it's taking the humor in life and then refining it and making it,
Yeah.
being able to read a crowd makes it what is the art
Right,
that is
right, right,
comedy.
right.
Generally,
Yeah,
okay. I like her, because this was a discussion
Okay.
my husband and his friend was having a lot.
Okay.
He's like, this is what we call humor, and this is what comedy is. So he
Mhm.
always calls out situations like when something's humorous,
Yeah.
it's this, and here's when it's being comedic, is when
Right.
you can put it in a situation and get a people to laugh about the
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been doing comedy, and would you say that you were the funny kid?
I was a really quiet kid until
Okay.
people got to know me. Then I would start coming out of my shell. I was
Yeah.
very shy at a young age. But the first time I got on stage was in the 4th or 5th grade for a talent show. I used to watch a lot of Eddie Murphy movies growing up,
Oh, nice.
and I didn't know he was a comedian. I was a fan of Sinbad and like Martin Lawrence and all that stuff. But I saw Eddie Murphy Delirious in the
Oh,
video
yeah.
store when we still had Hollywood Video.
Yeah, we
And-
have that on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I asked my mom to rent it so we could watch it. And that's the first time I actually saw Eddie Murphy do stand up, and I think it's been a wrap ever since then.
Oh man.
I would go to sleep listening to Comedy Central as a kid, just growing up. I listened to all types of comedy.
So it was generally a big influence in your life.
Yeah. Because I started out being a visual artist. I used to draw a lot, but I always kept comedy kind of like close knit. I did that one show in the 4th grade. I did it a few times at used to speak at church, and ever since then I kind of like kept it close knit. And then as I got older, I would start to go to open mics and kind of test it out. But I still wouldn't tell anybody. I'd do it on my own. And then
Yeah.
as I got better, that's when I started to tell people that I did it.
Well, you kind of got to practice, right?
Definitely,
You know?
yeah, definitely.
Did you ever practice like in front of friends and with the friends and stuff,
Not
or did
really.
you just kind of practice on your own and then just took
Yeah.
it to stage? Huh?
I would start by doing things that I thought were funny, and then I would take it to stage, and then I'm like, okay, nobody's laughing at this. How do I fix it, or do I throw it away? And that's essentially, that process never stops. That's what comedians do,
Yeah.
even like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. You don't have to necessarily test. You can take thoughts that you have and take them straight to stage without refining them. And you
Yeah.
can just refine them on stage, and that's kind of how I like to do stuff now. I like to work my material out on shows rather than just open mics.
Yeah.
Because when you do it with the audience there, that's how you know what really works. When you're
Okay.
not scared to bomb, but you're also good, it's kind of like having a healthy medium, because you don't want to just go up there and ruin the show. But
Yeah.
right, this is all new stuff, but if you're a good enough comedian, you can try new stuff and still keep the crowd engaged, even though your material is not working.
Okay.
So
So do you read the crowd a lot to kind of
Have-
determine what jokes you would say, like
yes,
improvly?
yeah, definitely. That's I think that the secret to stand up is learning people. We had a conversation on Facebook not too long ago. I think somebody asked, like, what is the secret to roasting or something? I think it's all just getting to know people, because you have different crowds, even if it might not be your background. If you learn how these people are, then you can know how to joke with them. And
Yeah.
you can even make fun of people and it still be playful and not feel like you're being attacked.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think, like, just getting to know people that's not like yourself, watching, observing, I think that makes you a better comedian.
Yeah.
The more humane you are as a person, I think that mixes well with comedy. That way you can do stuff, because I'm not a fan of just like shock jock. Like, let me say the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just 100% that, nobody's having a good time. So I think it's a healthy medium of a lot of different perspectives, plus your own with humor. I think that helps.
You were speaking about roasting people. I
Right.
think I come from my family. Half my family's Cajun.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's one thing I learned when I was younger is Cajuns roast the hell out of each other.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is a constant. And they'll pick at anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think a lot of people get like, they're weirded out by that. I was like,
Right.
look, that's just how Cajun people are.
Yeah.
They roast each other and their families. They'll roast somebody they see on the street, and then they'll laugh.
Yep.
And then they just want you to laugh
Right.
with them, And I think it can be off-putting, but like, honestly, if you're there for a comedy show, you kind of got to be prepared.
You got to be open. And,
But so what other qualities do you think it takes to make someone funny? Like, list your qualities you think.
The most important thing is I think, it is going to sound like very bare bones, but to just be funny. I think you start with that and then kind of branch out.
So that
I
is the
think
foundation.
That's definitely the foundation. But I think having something to say, having a perspective and talking about it, or just be funny. And then you got to learn how to do that. That's the first thing.
Oh, yeah.
That I tell anybody, if you're trying to be a storyteller or a one-liner or observational, dry, it's got to be funny, because that's what we're here for. No matter who you voted for, what your perspective is, it has to be funny. So it's about reading the room, knowing your audience, and just being funny.
All right. So what was the first time for you, like, that you took maybe a more professional stage?
Okay.
What was that like for you,
The
that very
first-
first time?
The first time in a professional aspect, I'm trying to think I can't remember my first pro show.
And
I
well,
don't
give
know.
me a first memorable one that you remember.
I could say the biggest I've ever done was being on Kill Tony.
Oh, really?
I forgot what month that was, but I know it was I think the episode was 644 or 688. I think 688.
688?
But that was the biggest, I believe, show that I've done, because there was millions of people watching.
That is a
And
big
then-
show, yeah.
and
Kill
that-
Tony, definitely.
I only had a minute to be funny, and luckily I wrote a joke specifically for the show, and I had practiced it 8 months before then, and it worked. So I got up there. It kind of didn't work when I got, because it's a different experience when you're at a club,
no.
a regular club.
Oh, it's definitely
Yeah,
a
yeah.
rougher moment, right?
Yeah.
Like hypercritical, I feel like.
Yeah, and I was the first one to open that episode. I was the first one out of the bucket pools to go up. They had the regulars, and then I was the first bucket pool. I went up, kind of set the tone, and then it just took over from there. So that was a interesting experience, because I don't even remember the crowd. I just remember seeing the stage
Yeah.
and the comedians that were over to the left, Tony and Red Band, and then the band. And I just remember going out in the curtain and then just going blank. And
Yeah, because I imagine that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But
Like-
I've been, because the journey of doing comedy is you do a lot of shows where it's one person in the crowd, two people, 10. You might be in a restaurant where nobody actually want to hear you do comedy,
Yeah.
or somebody's watching a football game and you have to talk up. So
Yeah.
that stuff prepares you for like moments like that where it's a bunch of people or it's nobody and you still have to perform.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of kind of like working out. It's like it's hard at first, but then you get used to the
Yeah,
pain.
you kind of get used to the motion.
Yeah.
I think that's with any art. The more practice
Right.
you get, it becomes natural to
Yeah.
you. That like doesn't matter. All right, guys. Here's a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back to continue that conversation with Mark. All right. No matter what scenario you're in, you just gotta
perform.
do it.
Gotta do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Do you think life experiences in general, be it bad or good, affect how someone is good at comedy?
Maybe, but I don't think there's a common misconception that like all comedians are like very sad or
Yeah.
like they have to be have a messed up childhood to be. I mean that is an over under with that of it being the case a lot of times, but I think what it is, I think we all have trauma, but people who are funny, they were just funny anyway,
Yeah.
and they can turn their trauma or pain into jokes.
They make it. They
so-
make a kind of almost coping.
Yeah, it's
It's our way of, it can be a way of coping. It's
Right.
like any art, right? We cope with our trauma. And
Yeah.
I kind of have to agree with you. It's like, I feel like there's nobody out there really that doesn't have some sort of
Right.
trauma.
It's just how you deal with it and how you kind of
Yeah,
maneuver. in the
how
world.
well you mask,
Right.
and every day. Like, for me, I always tell people, like, I don't think normal's a real thing.
Yeah,
I think
right.
really what normal is how well someone masks in society
I
and
agree.
how they want people to see them,
100%. Some people are more capable of being 100% who they are, and a lot of people are very cool at just masking and looking like the status quo. But I think everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are scared to be authentic sometimes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
that might come from trauma too.
yeah.
But I think I have a lot of comedian friends who they like to say that we're unique because we suffer the most or we're all messed up. I don't think that's necessarily true. I would agree that all of us are messed up, but I don't think that's just like
A specific comedy
I don't
thing.
think so.
Right?
It might be I would say more so I think artists suffer more just in general. I think, and
I
that's where
think
the
it's
art come from.
I think it's an intellectual thing.
Might be.
Because there have been studies that say people who are higher intelligence
Right.
technically deal with depression
Yeah.
and and stuff like that a lot
Right.
more
Right.
because we see more reality in the
Yeah.
situations we're in. We understand things better, therefore
Yeah.
we face a lot more. And I
kind
think
of see stuff for what it is, and it kind of scary to just like a lot of people are just like, oh, everything's cool, and then you like, nah, I see behind the veil, and it's
it's not
yeah.
everything's cool if you understood why these things are
Yeah.
happening. It's like, yeah, no, then you are like dealing with the knowing of it. And like, I guess it's that, tree of knowledge thing. You suffer for having knowledge, right? You know,
right. Ignorance is bliss.
right?
Yeah, it is.
So that, I mean, there probably are people that are legitimately happier because they are kind of,
100%.
in that realm of the bliss. So,
sure.
okay. So you personally write your sets and your jokes. How is that process for you when you sit down and decide I want to write a joke, or do they just come randomly for you?
It's more so random. I can sit down and kind of think. If I'm sitting down and make myself write something, I'll sit down and just kind of let my mind wander, and then things pop in, and I'm like, okay. Sometimes
Almost like a meditation, right?
Yeah, a lot of times when I lay down and I'm not asleep, but I just kind of
Let your mind go, yeah.
That's a lot of stuff, ideas, jokes, a lot of stuff comes that way. And then I might have a funny thought, and then I'll expand on it. A lot of times I work backwards. Like I might have something I think is funny, and then I'm like, all right, how do I get
that into a form that's a joke?
Yeah, it's like a creative writing exercise, essentially. Like I might think of a funny thought, and I'm like, okay, this is funny, but now I got to see what's the vehicle to get to this punchline.
Have you ever built like I know some comedians make up stories
sure.
to make it fit. Do you make up stories or do you
all the time? Both. I have like 'cause people. I leave stage and somebody's like, the stuff that is true, they'll never ask about that. But the stuff that I make up, sometimes you're like, did that really happen? I'm like, no, man, I'm joking. But yeah, I use both, and then sometimes I tell the truth but make the story up. So something might happen, and I might know somebody who did it, but then I'll either make the situation my situation, or I take myself out and make somebody else the person who is the joke or something. Just different ways, just kind of how I think it would sound better, basically.
I mean, storytelling generally is one of those things. Even if you pass down a story, it changes and changes every time it's passed down. Why, and making up stories, that's just part of an art, right? That's part of the craft.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm glad to. I was curious because I know some people they write from like, oh, this is real life, but like I feel like being able to create a story from pure fiction and then making it funny.
That's a talent in itself.
It is. It's something. It's an imaginative. And I think it's interesting. You were talking about you kind of go into the trances. They're very similar to visual artists too. It's like we just kind of like let it come to us. Yep. And we let our brain just go sometimes. And then so for me, it's the same way. I'll kind of just like zone out and just start thinking about all these things. I think it's very interesting, the similarities, between different mediums of art.
Right. I think it's all connected more or less. There's a documentary / like movie, Dave Chappelle, I can't think of the name of it, but when he made that festival, he did a music festival in the middle of New York, and he was talking about, there was a scene where he was backstage playing a piano, and he was just saying like a lot of comedians want to be rappers, a lot of rappers think they're funny, so there's like always this link between music and comedy, and like visual arts. It all kind of,
I mean, we got a lot of actors and things that have become painters, and Jim Carrey's a great example. Yep. Like his art is amazing, and like he went from doing acting and comedy all his life to like, I'm gonna sit down and just paint.
Yep.
And I think he just already had the mind for it, because all artists kind of have a similar mind. It's just the medium in which we pick.
Right. Yeah.
And especially some of us just dabble in everything.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm thankful that I don't have to pay a graphic designer or a video editor, because I'm like, I draw, I do it all. I started drawing, and then I just fell into comedy. And it was always, comedy was always at the bottom until I got older. And then I was like, you know what?
You know what? In the future, you might be like, I'm gonna do a gallery show. Why not, right?
Right.
Like expand your art.
Facts. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So, I'm pretty sure I know that you have, but
Oh.
have you bombed on stage before? And what is that experience
Oh,
like when you bomb on stage?
It's not fun. I bombed last week. A couple weeks ago, I was at LOL and the mic went out,
Ooh.
so we had to. And I haven't done this in a long time, but sometimes you might have to just do the show without a mic and you have to project. But the last time I did it before then was like maybe 6 years ago.
Oh wow!
And that went well, but this time it did not go good at all. But bombing is just is a part of the game. It's gonna happen. The greats do it all the time, but it's just one of those muscles that you train. It's like it could always be. You can have 100 great shows, and 101 will be the one that'll be the worst one, and then you'll never stop thinking about it. But I think it makes you better. You might want to quit for like 2 weeks, and then you'll be like, I miss doing comedy, and then you'll get right back up there. So it's part of the game, but it doesn't feel good to everybody else do well, and then you go up there and then just.
That's what I tell artists. Like, yeah, you're gonna have failures, right? A lot. And they're gonna happen, but they're lessons. Mm-hmm. Like every time it's a lesson. We subconsciously know that what mistakes we made or what the situation, how we would have done it differently, and our brain learns something from that.
Yeah. Right? It's a lot of quiet car rides home after you do comedy.
So definitely don't give up just because you bombed. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah. That's how you know where to step over. That's what lines you know how to step over. Mm-hmm. But I don't tell anybody to quit. But you don't have to tell anybody that's really. Nobody's gonna tell you to stop. Even if you have a bad painting, nobody has to tell you to start painting again. No. It's like, all right, well, I didn't like that, but I'm gonna go try something else. So with comedy, it's the same thing. The ones who are gonna do it, they're not gonna quit, even if they stop.
The true artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get a guy that just wants to try it out, and he bombs, and he's like, never again.
I'm never doing it.
It's like you weren't really committed to the art in the first place.
He's gonna keep calling your name for sure. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who, wants to try comedy? They maybe had a passion for it all their lives like you did, and they're just scared. What advice would you give that person to encourage them?
Get on stage, watch a lot. I consumed a lot of comedy documentaries, interviews, because I just wanted to consume as much as I could. Mm-hmm. You're never gonna be ready, so you're just gonna have to get the first one out the way, and then after that,
gets easier every time after.
It'll tell you where you want to go. If you do it and you're like, I didn't do good, but I want to try this again, you'll be where you need to be.
It was kind of like that when I started this podcast. Mm-hmm. Like I used to do Twitch streaming, playing games, right? Me and my husband, but like. It's a different platform when it's focused on me,
Right.
And for one of the first few times, I was so nervous.
For real.
Like, I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I have to do it. I have to do it. And I just forced myself to do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had the choice to just pre-record things and not even be on camera.
Right.
But I was like, I want to be there and interact with the person. Like, it felt more real that way. You know
more
what
authentic.
I mean?
It's a doing it like this gives it a kind of a more human element, and then people watching it, they feel like they're listening in on the conversation. Yeah, and it might help. You never know who it'll help or.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it helps people. I definitely do. You know, especially in each medium. Also, in a weird way, I want to like take a historical record of all the artists that we have in our area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like building an archive of like, hey, these are artists that are happening. Here's them actually on camera, because there's a lot of times. We'll see, like, especially with visual arts, you'll see, like, a painting.
Right.
And you'll see the painting tons of times, but you never know who the artist is. Or sometimes an artist will just disappear in obscurity. Yep. Like, they may have painted a mural on a wall, and that wall's there. That mural's there years after they're gone. Right. And nobody knows who they were. Yeah. Because they were never put on camera. So that's kind of my goal with this.
Well, thank you. Speaking on behalf of all the artists, we appreciate stuff like this,
Oh,
and we
well,
need it for sure.
we definitely do. I feel like we need more good stories and stuff like
Yeah,
that here.
yeah,
We have
definitely.
everybody focuses on the bad,
Yep,
but there's a lot of good here.
so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is, and we're growing a lot.
Oh yeah, every day,
Yeah,
every day.
every day. So, is there anything else that you would like to say?
Um,
Also share your social media
yeah,
with us.
everything, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram is usually at Mark Pugh Jr. MarkPughJr. I'm like 3 subscribers away from 1,000 on YouTube.
Ooh,
So that's pretty cool.
congratulations!
Thank you. Somebody reacted to a video where I was talking about why I left Austin's comedy scene, and that and the Kill Tony video that I put on my page kind of just took it up there. So I've been wanting to get back into streaming and all of that. So
Okay.
I think I'll probably be able to do it now since
Hey.
we at 1K. Well, almost at 1K. So
Oh man.
yeah,
That's really cool. Congratulations
Appreciate
on
it.
that.
Thank you.
I understand, man. I've been trying to build my following a little bit. It's rough sometimes,
Very rough.
When you
Yeah.
don't got money to throw at advertising. It's
It's crazy.
that's why artists have a harder time
Yeah.
making it out there. You know.
I wish there was something. I don't know. We need a lot of resources as artists and information. I wish there was like somebody that was in the business side that could work with artists to get them to the business side. Like that would be
To
cool.
really market it. Then
Right.
yeah. That's definitely something that we need to focus on and try to build in our community.
For
Like
sure.
have more consultation. and
Yeah.
Maybe a nonprofit that raises funds to help artists like
Right.
market themselves and put themselves out there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anything else you would like to say before we go?
When we come to Shreveport Comedy Club, Wednesdays is open mic. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna start doing a lot more pop up shows at different places, and we have weekend shows too.
Nice.
Follow us on socials. Follow Shreveport Comedy Club on Instagram and Facebook. We post a lot of stuff there. Shout out to Clyde Williams, my partner. Check his stuff out too.
Maybe we can get him to come on
we'll
here
get him to come.
sometime.
Yeah. I'm gonna let him do a solo one so he can do all his razzle dazzle stuff that he like to do.
Hey,
He's
I'll have to stop in and check out
Please
you
do,
guys.
yeah.
Where is it located, by the way?
7617 Pines Road, right next to Platinum Lounge, in Huntington Plaza.
All right, that's
Yeah.
not too far from
Not too
me.
far.
I'm
Yeah,
in
no.
Keithville, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
not-
right there.
It's not too
bad.
far.
Not too
Yeah.
bad.
Well, thank you so much, Mark,
Appreciate
for
you.
coming to talk to me. I'm
Thank you for
glad we
having me.
finally got around to it.
Yes, I would love to do it again.
Yeah, definitely. Especially
back.
if you guys have a big event, let me
Okay.
know. We'll try to
Will
let
do.
me know a few months ahead so we can set you up earlier.
Gotcha.
And get you in.
Okay.
All right, thank you
All
so
right,
much,
thank you.
Mark.
Appreciate
You
it.
take care. All right, guys. So that was my interview with Mark Pugh of the Shreveport Comedy Club. It's good to have another location like that. We also have Laugh Out Loud here as well. I believe that's the two main comedy clubs that we have in our area. He actually mentioned Laugh Out Loud when he accidentally bombed. Well, it really wasn't his fault if the mic goes out. You can't help that. Anyways, thank you guys again for stopping in and supporting my show. You'll be able to find more of my articles. I write full articles for all my interviews. You can find those on KSLA.com, podcast section, and then ArkLaTex Artistry from there. You have video. I have long form video, and I have full length articles with just extra details and sometimes pictures and images as well. So, all right, guys. You can find more of my content also on the Roku, Apple TV, streaming apps, YouTube, especially YouTube. If you go to ArkLaTex Artistry playlist on our KSLA's playlists, look up for ArkLaTex Artistry there. It's a pretty extensive playlist. All right, guys. Now, you guys take care. I might recap this on Wednesday at 11. We will see. It depends on if nothing is in my way to do that. Otherwise, I'll see you next Saturday at noon, as usual. You guys take care and have a fantastic weekend. And I might see you at Zombie Walk if you go to Zombie Walk. All right, bye, guys.